Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today's build is going to be the Flame Reave Spellblade with over 1000% chance to ignite on hit. You'll be getting 2 hits every time that you use Flame Reave, as it's going to go out and come back. It's a little mana expensive. We're not using focus, we have Mana Strike, so that Mana Strike's set up to give you the maximum amount of mana, and it has a 4-second cooldown so that you could get double mana from it. You can get almost 100 mana with just one hit, so every 4 seconds you just do a hit, you get back 100 mana, and then you continue along your way. This is a kiting build. You're going to constantly be running away and just doing a one shot with Flame Reave behind you, and it's going to ignite things for about 8 to 9 seconds because of the duration of ignite, and you're doing so many stacks that most things will die before you even need to do another attack. And we have a trigger button, we have Enchant Weapon, which will consume all of the ignite stacks, do all the damage that they would have done over the duration, but it's going to do them instantly and do 200% increased damage on it. So things like Abomination, where you can stack all of your ignite real quick and then just pop Enchant Weapon, we were doing 170k damage against him. Anything in the mono runs that you do, fire golems, beetles, bosses at the end, it doesn't matter. You can one-shot them all when you use Enchant Weapon. You just put a bunch of ignite stacks on them and then pop Enchant Weapon and boom, it's game over. Now Enchant Weapon does have a bit of a long cooldown, so it's not something you can just do over and over and over again. However, when you just get to the bosses and you use it, then that's the only time you're going to need it, and it is a one-shot thing. If you go up against bosses like the Emperor, you do have to go through the cycle 4, 5, 6 times in order to get the boss dead, but it still overall is a very quick build, and you don't even have to use Enchant Weapon. The damage you get from 10 stacks of Ignite per hit is pretty crazy as well. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the skills. For skills, we're running Mana Strike, Flame Reave, Flame Ward, Enchant Weapon, and Teleport. For Mana Strike, we have 3 points in Arcanist Blade, 2 points in Swift Sap, 3 points in Rage Sap, 1 point in Spirit Blade, 4 points in Mana Drain, 1 point in Mana Cleave, 5 points in Critical Mana, 1 point in Critical Rejuvenation. Now the way this should work is you get 15 mana when you hit an enemy with it back. You get an additional 9 mana, which makes 24 mana. You then have 80% more gained, and then that is doubled, but you have a 4-second cooldown. All of that together should give you 86 mana back on a single hit, and you can only hit one enemy for the mana back now. Now you also get 15 mana if it critically strikes. Now I don't know if the 86 is added to the 15 and you only get 101 back, or if that 15 is in the formula before the 80% and the doubled, in which case you get 140 mana back. But it seems like no matter how many times I hit mobs, I usually only get about 100 mana every time. So it's really weird how it works, but you do get roughly 100 mana back no matter what when you do a hit with Mana Strike. So just using it every 4 seconds or whenever you're getting low on mana is all you have to do. Just a couple of hits with it and you'll be full again. For Flame Reave, we have 5 points in Heat Wave, 3 points in Slash and Burn, 3 points in Unbound Flames, 2 points in Scorching Tide, 3 points in Arcane Severance, 3 points in Ember Infusion, and 1 point in Flame Caller. For Flame Ward, we have 4 points in Star Ward Defense, 5 points in Barrier, 3 points in Prismatic Buffer, 3 points in Dilation, and 5 points in Infusion. For Enchant Weapon, we have 5 points in Immolating Strike, 1 point in Burst of Fire, 3 points in Flame Blast, 5 points in Eternal Flames, and 1 point in Confligate, which takes all the Ignite stacks on an enemy, consumes them all at once, and then with 4 points in Searing Conflagration gives you 200% more damage than it would have done, which is huge. And then for Teleport, we have 5 points in Resonant Plasma, 1 point in Unexpected Copy, 2 points in Uncontrolled Duplication, 1 point in Decoy Position, 5 points in Stable Duplicants, 5 points in Elemental Affinity, and 1 point in Ether Barrier. For passives, we have 25 points in the Mage base class, with 6 points in Scholar, 1 point in Elementalist, 3 points in Arcanist, 5 points in Mage Flurry, 10 points in Knowledge of Destruction. In the Sorcerer, we have over 25 points, with 8 points in Mana Shell, 10 points in Wisdom, 8 points in Cryomancer, and 5 points in Lavamancer. And 55 points in the Spellblade, with 6 points in Elemental Affinity, 6 points in Infused Weapon, 8 points in Arcane Warden, 10 points in Elemental Strikes, 5 points in Arcane Shielding, 5 points in Essence Duel, and 5 points in Molten Edge. For items, the idols that you want are Ignite Duration and increased fire damage over time. There are also 1x4s that will give you added melee fire damage along with Ignite Chance. You can run those, although I found that the duration tends to do more than the Ignite Chance ones, even though you can get up to over 160% more Ignite. It seems like getting almost 100% duration with the already 1000% Ignite we have does more damage. We are wearing a few uniques. The 3 uniques that you need are the Eye of Rain, Calamity, and Soulfire. You don't have to have Orion's Eye. I just do this because it gives you a lot of extra mana and we didn't need a crafted item, but you can put an item in that slot. You can get fire penetration, fire damage, you can do other things, craft an item. However, you'll just be shorter on mana, and we wanted to get as much mana in before we used Enchant Weapon. For our items, we have damage dealt to mana before health, increased armor, we have Ignite Chance on hit with fire skills, fire damage over time. For our shield, set Physical Void and set Necrotic and Poison with plus all to resistance and some armor. And then we went with 4 set Necrotic and Poison along with 4 Physical and Void. We didn't do set resistance, we just put some elemental resistance on a few of our items to get it. As I hovered over all of them, our character sheet, as you can see, is almost max. We're just 5% shy on cold, but that's it. We have over 2,000 armor. You have some block chance with this since we're wearing a shield. And your damage doesn't look like much, but all of that Ignite Chance, and don't be distracted if you look at your Ignite Chance and it says, oh, you only have 30%. You have way more than 30%. The reason it doesn't show that is you don't have any real global Ignite Chance. You have a whole bunch of melee attack, so like if you use spells, it won't count, and none of that shows in here. But your weapon has, or at least my weapon has 182%. You can get up to, I believe, 200 with it. Calamity has another 150, Soulfire can have up to another 200, we have almost another 100 on our chest, we have over 140 in passives. You get some from Flame Reave skill tree itself. You could throw in Firebrand if you want. I didn't because Firebrand was just too clunky for me, but you can throw that in there and get another almost 130% Ignite Chance global if you have like 9 or 10 stacks constantly going, but that was just too much for me. But this build is very fun to play. It's pretty fast paced. You're constantly running and just throwing a Flame Reave either right in front of you or behind you and just letting the mobs die over time. You don't have to actually stay in one spot and kill them. So let's go ahead and get into some more gameplay.